Hi everyone, my name's Alex Wexler, and my goal today is to give a short presentation, hopefully under 20 minutes, of how to implement the new curriculum, the CEFR. Until now, we had a document, and like all documents, it is flat, but the challenge is bringing the document into the classroom. And the classroom is lively, so we're going to try to infuse life into this wonderful document. So going back to the CEFR, it's a long document, but it's very, very, very user-friendly. I suggest that everyone read it. It's something that you could use in the classroom, and the purpose of this is for someone who already read the document, okay, how do I implement it? So the CEFR is really, the purpose of it is to make Israel, standardize Israel with Europe, and to make sure that our standards are working together with the European standards, in that the fact that 3 points, 4 points, 5 points have no meaning outside of Israel. So we want to make sure that we're all working together due to globalization, and our students are working both in Israel and out of Israel, and interacting with those people outside, and therefore it's important that we're all together. Moreover, this document clarifies and gives specific goals that we need to reach, and these goals gives us the ability to implement them in the classroom, and it really is a wonderful guide for the teacher. Now, CEFR means Common European Framework of Reference. What I did here is I took what I thought to be the most important terms, and I wanted to explain what these terms are. The next step will be how I took these terms and prepared a class, and the next step would be how do I use these terms in the actual classroom. So here are the terms. Levels, which when I mean levels, I mean there's A1, pre-A1, A1, A2, B1, B2, as opposed to saying, okay, 6th grade, junior high, high school, foundation. We'll be using these terms, A1, A2, B1, B2, and there's also C1, C2, which is university, but it's out of our scope, is so that we have many times a 12th grader who's on the level of A1 or A2. We have classes like that. It's important for us to be able to be more specific and identify the class with the level, as opposed to thinking about the age. We should be thinking about, okay, academically, where are they holding, so that we could give them whatever they need. There's domains, the personal domain, which we're talking about, which is the content that's about the actual person, meaning what's it like in my life, which is more appropriate for the developmental, personal development of a child who's younger. Then you go to the public domain, which is more about, let's say, hitnadvut, which is volunteering. Academic, which is about learning, that vocabulary that's needed for learning, or that which is needed for learning. And occupational is what is needed for people's jobs. So there are different domains. The domains relate to different areas of interest or of life, actually. So there are 4 areas of life according to the curriculum that is going to be dealt with. So there's activities, which breaks down into 4. There's oral reception. Oral reception is referring to listening, and there's written reception, which is reading comprehension, reading. Then there is production, oral production, which is speaking, and then written production is writing. And then there's interaction, which is a perfect example of that would be to have a conversation with someone where you're listening and giving back. It's give and take. And then there's mediation, which we're going to talk about today, is when you take something from one format and change it over. For example, what I'm doing now is a form of mediation where we have a document, and I'm trying to explain what that document is to you. Another example of mediation would be note-taking, which is that someone's giving a lecture and the person takes the lecture and writes it down. So changing it from one format to another is a form of mediation. Then the next is communicative competencies. There's linguistic, which includes grammar and vocabulary, phonological and orthographic control. So that is talking about the language itself. Another communicative competency is sociolinguistic, which is social appropriateness, which referring to saying how to speak and what's socially appropriate, saying thank you, may I, and things of that sort. Then there is the pragmatic competency, which is how messages are organized, structured, arranged, and used to perform communicative functions, meaning the format or the structure of the actual language using connectors and then, therefore being able to take something memorized and being able to manipulate that which is memorized and be able to make it your own. So that is pragmatic competency, which is extremely important. And I'm oversimplifying it as you go back to the document and look what each one means, and you look at what the goals are for each one. What I'm doing today is only giving you a taste of it, so you understand what we're talking about, but the document needs to be in front of you while going through this chart. It's extremely important. And then we're coming to the can-do statements, which is, can-do statements is I can, which is the goal of each and every class, meaning the student needs to be able to say at the end of the class, I can, ... If the student can't say I can, ... that means you did not reach your goal. I'm not talking about every single student reaching that goal, but at least the teacher coming in should say to him or herself, I want the student to say I can. Now the goals, and we'll talk about this, and the outcomes of the curriculum is really written in I can statements. The reason why it's I can is because it puts the emphasis on the teacher, on the student, and not on the teacher. I can mean the student has the responsibility to be able to do that. Now, it also strengthens the student's confidence when the student could say at the end of every class, I can do such and such. Okay, so there's global, which is a larger category, which is general, and then there's operative, which is specific. Okay, and we'll talk about that more in the presentation. So once again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, and these are the major terms that one should think about when they are preparing a class. The goal here in this slide is to say, I wanted to prepare a lesson. What steps did I take using the document in order to prepare the lesson? So what I did is, after a lot of reflection, I decided to break it down to points so things will be as clear as I can be. So number 1 was identify the level of the class. A1, A2, or is it pre-A1, A2, B1, B2, and if it's university level, C1, C2. Okay, B1 once again is 4 points, B2 is 5 points, A1 is elementary or foundation, A2 is junior high. So you may have a 12th grade class, but it could be that 12th grade class could be in A1, A2 level, and you have to give them whatever they can get at their level. Number 2 is I wanted to pick the material that is relevant to the student's life. Okay, so I wanted to see something that they could relate to. Once again, learning cannot happen if the students feel disconnected from it. So therefore, something that I connected to, I think it's important for the teacher to be able to also connect to it, and also something that the students could connect to. 3, pick a skill that you want to teach. It could be a skill with an activity, which is reception or production, mediation, or interaction. But the goal is to pick some kind of skill before you start teaching. You're not just teaching an unseen, you're not just teaching a listening, but what skill specifically. Next, pick a global can-do statement, which is you go to the curriculum and there's a list of can-do statement according to the activities and according to the competencies. So pick the right or the global statement you want, then pick an operative can-do statement. The difference between a global and operative, global is more general, the operative is a subcategory of the global and it's more specific to your specific class. Okay? Recycle older skills such as vocabulary. So make sure that whatever skills you studied in the past, it's recycled into what you're doing right now, and that way you'll be strengthening past skills, and actually the students will be able to integrate the new ideas with the old ideas, because English naturally is one language in that category, so by able to recycle past lessons into this lesson, it'll be a lot more efficient. Differential teaching, even though we said identify a level, but as we all know, there's no one classroom where everyone's the same. Being able to relate to each child on his level, and then critical thinking is not just lots, but HOTS questions. Being able to vary that, and that also keeps the interest of the students. It's also extremely important for the 21st century student, and adult. I prepared a lesson, so, and this is more concrete. So I said, okay, I'm in 12th grade. Now this is a laboratory, meaning I don't have actually students in front of me or so many students in front of me. So this is going to be more frontal teaching, but I picked A2, which is 12th grade A2, meaning even though it's junior high, but these students are already in 12th grade, and therefore the material has to be appropriate both according to their age and according to their academic skill. 2, the material chose is a short clip about a depressed boy. I thought that may be relevant, and I thought it would be interesting. 3, the skill I chose to teach is mediation. The skill or the activity is mediation. I'm not teaching interaction, my goal is mediation. Mediation means that I'm going to show them something and they have to repeat to me that which they saw in their clip. So the global can-do statement, which is my goal, is can convey in speech the main points involved in simple, clearly structured, spoken and written text. Meaning the students will be able to say back to me that which they saw in the clip, and that is the global goal. And my operative goal is more specific, can relay in speech the main idea that was expressed in the clip using Bantu words, meaning there were Bantu words at which we already studied. I want them to use those words while saying back to me what they saw in the clip. So here is I'm recycling Bantu words. I'll be asking lots and lots of questions. Okay, most of my questions are WH questions. The reason why I chose the simplistic approach of WH questions, I'm asking and trying to extract it from the students, is because I wanted to show in this that everything that the teachers have been doing until now, you can continue doing it, but we're trying to make a change in the headspace. Meaning, what are your goals? What do the curriculum want? And then use whatever skill set you have and use it in the classroom. Once again, I do not have a class in front of me, so it's going to be frontal. 3, allow each student to answer on his level. The reason why I said that is because it's differential teaching. Teaching speech or productive productive oral is extremely important, and the fact that it's also easy to differentiate because each student could produce on his or her level. When we're talking about things that need to do reading comprehension, it's more complex, but when dealing with oral, it's a lot easier, and our goal is to build the confidence so students may answer differently, and that's okay. That's part of differential teaching. So here are the words I'm going to be recycling. They're all from the Bantu words. Extremely, take care of, disappointed, responsible, normal, give up. Okay, I want the students to use these words, which are already studied. They should know them, and reuse it when they are saying back to me what they saw on the clip. Okay, so once again, I'll be using WH questions to my A2 group in a form of mediation that they're able to take the clip and say it over themselves using these words. Okay, I have a clear can-do statement, and if the can-do statement is specific enough, and I really think one of the best ways to build a can-do statement is using the SMART approach, which is having a specific goal, measurable goal, attainable goal, relevant goal, and something that's timely, that so you can see how long you're gonna it'll take the class to reach that goal. If it's specific enough, you'll know at the end of the class. Moreover, the students will know at the end of the class, and they'll be able to say, I can say over this clip, and they will feel very good about themselves and that they achieved their goal, and they could say clearly to themselves that this was a meaningful class. All right, good morning class. Everyone sit down. Okay. How many of you spend a significant amount of time playing video games? Honey. Yes, excellent. Now, who here thinks video games are healthy and good for you, or how many of you think they're maybe a bit of a waste of time? Yeah. Okay. Why? Okay. I see. Some of you think it's a waste of time because you're doing nothing. Others think, no, you're learning things. Hand-eye coordination. Very good. What I want to do here is show a video to the class, okay, about a boy playing a video game. At the end, we're going to discuss it. Okay, was he happy? Was he sad? Any of these words? Okay, he gave up. Excellent. What did he give up on? He gave up. He didn't want to go play. He didn't want to go out to. He didn't want to live his life. He was only in the movie. Very good. Disappointed. Good. Very good. Is there another word we could put in with the word disappointed? Excellent. Extremely disappointed. He gave up in life. Right. Any other words that we could use here? The boy did not feel normal. Why not? Why didn't he feel normal? Because he was missing a leg. Okay. So once again, the who is about a boy and a dog. The what is we're referring to a situation where the boy got a dog and he was extremely disappointed because the dog was missing a leg. Okay. How do you know he was disappointed? It was dark, it was gloomy. Okay. What about the kind of video game? Did that tell us anything? Excellent. Yeah, it was violent. So it was a violent video game in a dark place. It was gloomy. Okay. And the boy was disappointed and gave up on life. And at the beginning of the movie, we don't know why. Okay. So where was in his house in a dark and gloomy place. And very good, the music. The music made us feel different things. When the dog came out, the music was very happy. Now tell me about the dog. How would you describe the dog? The dog was playful. Excellent. Any other words? Cute. Fantastic. Okay. So we're talking about a boy who was disappointed and upset with his life. He got a present that was a dog, but he was extremely disappointed with the dog. He didn't want to take care of the dog because the dog was missing a leg. He was in his room, that's the where. It was dark and gloomy. He was in the room when, all we know about the when is it was the middle of the day, but yet it was so dark and gloomy in this room. Okay, we got to the why. Why do you think the director made this play? What was the message? Very good. The boy, very good. The boy's foot was missing. The dog's foot was missing. And what was the message? What was the message? Okay. Why do you think the mother gave the gift? Just like the boy was missing a leg and he was depressed and he thought no one liked him. And yet he found a dog which he does like, even though it's missing a leg. So he could think to himself, just like the dog is okay, even though he's disabled. So too, it's okay, I'm disabled, but people will like me too. So once again, the dog was like a symbol. It represented someone who's disabled. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean you can't be part of society. And so too, you could play out with the dog, and the dog was representative of the. Okay, so once again, do we know the who? The dog and the boy. Excellent. Do we know the what? He got a gift. Excellent. He got a gift. It was a dog. He was extremely disappointed. He didn't want to take care of it because it was disabled. It was missing a leg. He gave up on taking care of it. He gave up on his life, and he did not feel that the dog was normal, and he did not feel like he was normal. At the end, he saw how cute and beautiful and wonderful the dog is, and disability was irrelevant. It didn't make a difference. He took responsibility for the dog, and not only was he not extremely disappointed, but he also took him out to play, and he understand that he himself also, just because he has a disability, doesn't mean he's any less, and there's no reason to keep himself into the room on his own. Who here feels comfortable saying, I can speak about this video clip using my new words? Well, the majority do. Excellent. Kol hakavod, class. Kol hakavod. In order to explain to you what my goal was, what I wanted to do, what I did do, what I didn't do, and why. So my goal is just to show how the chart, how the CFR works in a classroom in a pure situation. We do not have a classroom in front of us because we wanted a pure demonstration of how it looks in a 15-minute video, which cannot be done in a normal classroom. Our assumption is a longer video would be less effective. 2, therefore, I was a lot more frontal than I would have liked to be. But once again, there cannot be too much interaction when you have a classroom of 0. 3, I wanted to show how the vocabulary is recycled. I do think that being that I didn't have the classroom, I would suggest that teachers speak a little slower. I would expect the teachers to be listening more, but that was not the situation we had today. And moreover, I wanted to show how the class could understand what happened at the end, feel an accomplishment. And that's the whole idea of the can-do statement. I picked mediation because that is the newest, at least in our jargon, the newest idea. And I also picked a video clip because of the COBE. And I wanted to put the two together in order to demonstrate what that would look like. But once again, I expect and hope that in your classrooms, where you have students, that things will be a lot more flowing back from teacher to student. I do want to say that we could see from this presentation that the CFR is very actionable, outcome driven, and moreover versatile, where we have different students on different levels. And in terms of differential teaching, once again, when we're dealing with speech, it is easier because we are accepting everyone's result, and hopefully, if the goal is interaction, we'd have the students interacting with each other a lot more. But the goal was not interaction, the goal was mediation. The purpose of the I CAN statement is to empower the student. Student is responsible for his own learning. The teacher needs to make specific goals where the student understands what the goal is, even if it's not stated explicitly in the beginning. It's measurable. The student can see what he's doing and feel good about himself. Okay? If the student doesn't feel good about himself, if he doesn't feel like he's accomplishing, then he may very well give up, especially when you have a weaker class. So, our goal is to empower the students, make him feel that he can achieve, he will achieve, and we as teachers are supposed to facilitate that learning, and hopefully the student will take his lessons into life and do well on all his endeavors.